We're going to learn how to add different layers to QGIS. The first that we're going to work with is called a shapefile layer that allows us to either add points or polygons and then compute some basic numbers from the shapes that we create. So let's start. So here I'm going to start with an empty QGIS project. Let me add the Openstreetmap layer. So I double clicked on Openstreetmap under X, Y, Z tiles. Gonna go here and gonna type OSM space Pittsburgh space PA space so that I can go directly to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And there it is. Let's zoom in a little. And what we're gonna do is let's create some layers for green spaces and maybe sports facilities. So notice that if we zoom in a little bit here at Pittsburgh, we see that there's a Point State Park right here. And we have Heinz Field top left, and here in the middle, top middle, we have PNC Park. So let's see, what we're gonna do is to add this layer, we're gonna go to layer. I'm gonna create layer. So layer, create layer. Then I'm gonna select new shapefile layer. Again, shapefile is a layer that allows you to, among other things, add polygons, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna add polygons. So the name of these layers will be, let's say, green areas, green and sports areas. That's a name that we are assigning. The geometry type, we're gonna create polygons because we're gonna draw these areas manually. It's gonna be a polygon. And we're gonna add some fields. Let me remove this one for now. I'm gonna remove here. Add some fields. So every layer or every element of our layer is gonna have some attributes. And those attributes are described by these fields. So the first one, let's say that it's type. And it's text attribute, maximum 80 characters. Let's add that one. The next one, let's call it name. Also text, maximum length of 80. The last one, let's call it ID. We're going to add an ID number to all of our entries. Again, these are fields that I have picked right now. So let's hit OK. So now notice that here we have our green sports area layer. There's nothing there. So if I uncheck it, nothing happens. Oops. If I uncheck it there, nothing is removed from our view. But how about if we now go into editing the content of this layer? And for that, we're going to click here either in toggle editing, this yellow pencil, or we can also click it here, toggle editing. When we do that, we're going to get this new tool active, which is the add polygon feature tool. So let's zoom in. I'm going to zoom in here into Heinz Field to get it there. And we're going to create a layer that marks the perimeter of Heinz Field, and let's add all of Heinz Field including the parking lot, so probably that's a good view. And I'm gonna select this tool called the add polygon feature, and now my cursor changes to this little dot or circle, a dot inside a circle, and then I'm going to start clicking around the perimeter of Heinz Field. So let's assume that Heinz Field is up to here. And on purpose, I'm gonna make a mistake. I'm gonna add a dot right there. And then I'm gonna, in order to end, I'm gonna right click. So remember, to end the selection, I'm gonna right click. Once I do that, it asks me for the data for this particular element. So this is going to be let's say a sports facility. The name is Heinz Field. And the ID, in our case, is going to be 1. Is that okay? Notice that it changes and we cannot really see what's behind right now. But we know that there's a problem because we created this extra point that now it's blocking, that was changing the shape of what we want. So what we're gonna do here is gonna go to properties of our layer, and let's change this to maybe 40% opacity or 46% opacity. And now I can see behind. And I need to fix that point, so I'm going to go here. I'm going to, while still editing, I'm going to check the vertex tool. And when I click on that and I go here, notice that I can see all these points. And the way to move these points is actually by double clicking on your vertices. So I'm going to double click on this one and then move it to the right place. So that is my selection for Heinz field. I need to add other things, so I'm going to add also PNC Park. So I'm going to select my hand here. I'm going to move to the left. There's PNC Park. I'm going to go around PNC Park and add that element as well. Let's say that all of these is PNC Park. Including the part that's close to the river. Let's say once I get there, I can right click to close my selection, and then this is also a sports facility. So let's enter the sports facility. That name, we said that is PNC Park, and the ID, let's say, is number 2. Click OK. Now we have that one as well. So notice that now we have both Heinz Field and PNC Park mark. I'm gonna grab my hand here and let's go with a park, and we're gonna do point state park here. We're gonna click again our polygon tool and we're gonna add it here. Right click to end our selection. The type is a park. The name is point state park, and the ID we're gonna select 3. And again, I'm picking random IDs for this example. And then now we have all of our 3 areas selected there. So what can you do with this? We're gonna do lots of things with these shapes, but the first thing we're gonna do is, how about if we add an element to calculate the area of these shapes. So I'm going to come here, I'm going to uncheck my editing mode, I'm going to say save, and open, right click here to open the attribute table. Notice it's a table that has our 3 fields, type, name, and ID, with the values that we have entered. And let's try to add a fourth field with the area of each of these shapes. So I'm going to go here, I'm going to click here, and this is the field calculator. We're going to create a new field. The name of the new field is going to be area, or surface area if you want. Let's put it with surface area. It has a maximum field of 10, so let's just put it as area and area. And then we're going to go here to geometry and add area. And that's it. We can click OK. And notice that it gives you a preview of this in square meters, the area. So Heinz Field is 7,200 square meters. PNC Park is 7,800. Sorry, 78,000 square meters. And Point State Park is 71,000 square meters. So let's click OK. And notice that indeed we have added a 4th field to our table, and this is a calculated field that is called area. If we were to add new shapes to our layer, we will have to go back into this menu right here and make sure that we click updated 16 field and select the area to be updated if you add more elements or more shapes, more polygons to your layer. So let's close this. And that's what we're going to do for now with shape files.